Shining bright, sunshine in the sky. Megan and Tammy here to testify, spreading love, laughter and good vibes too. The Fat Girl Chronicles, we're breaking through. No more hiding, no more feeling small.
Hey guys, it's Tammy
and Megan,
and together we are
the Fat Girl Flippers.
Welcome to Fat Girl Chronicles. This is our podcast.
And if you are watching us on YouTube and seeing our beautiful faces, make sure to subscribe and also hit the little bell button so you can be reminded every Friday when we post our podcast. Also, we have our podcast on almost all major podcast, apps or streams. So if you prefer to just listen to us in the car or listen to us without seeing our beautiful faces, make sure to follow us on there as well.
Yeah, it's kind of exciting that we're all in all those
I know.
podcast spaces.
It took a bit. Like, first we were on, Podbean or whatever, but then we went to, the Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
I think that's exciting.
And
the fact that people from all over the world are listening to us is...
I know. I think Richard said there was, 400 or 500 downloads so far.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I saw Italy, Germany.
Yeah. Worldwide.
Yeah, which is cool.
Just
we're international, people. We're international.
Oh, Lord. That's the last thing we need to be.
No. Or just you're still local, you're rural gals. Today, we are just going to kind of chill and have some conversation because things have been pretty heavy.
I know. We've had some pretty, heavy, but also just, very specific conversations. And so when we were trying to figure out, what to do today, we really didn't know because we've covered quite a bit. So if there's any topic ideas, definitely comment below. We do read the comments. We're horrible at replying.
Oh, we need to get on that.
Yeah.
I actually could probably do a lot more of that.
Yeah.
I never see them.
Yeah. I see in my...
That's terrible.
Because
you must get the notification.
I don't get the notifications. So it doesn't notify me. So I'll go in and check. But by the time I check, because I do read them all. But when I check, it's a couple of days after usually. And then I'm usually checking in the middle of whatever.
I'm thinking it must be like our Fat Girl Flippers because once I look at something, then you don't get notified of it. So if you look at it, then I don't get notified of it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's usually days after that I have to remind myself. So I don't know. Maybe Richard can look at maybe there's a notification feature that I'm not getting. So anyway, long story short,
keep on commenting. We will get back to you.
Yes, we will. Yes, and we do see them. We do read them. I do appreciate them. I think actually the last one, I believe Paula comment. Yeah, Paula.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if it's the Paula I'm thinking of.
Paula Arsenal?
Yeah, it was a username, but I'm pretty sure it's Paula.
Okay.
Anyway, she commented a lovely thing around her story when at the last podcast.
Oh,
and then
okay.
Amanda always comments. Amanda's a trooper. But yeah, so I do read them, and I love the different comments, and I love that people are engaging.
And Amanda and Paula were two people who expressed interest in coming on, also on maybe telling their stories and sharing with us too. So, again, comment down below if you've got ideas for things you'd like us to discuss.
Yeah.
We will be continuing on with our series about sex, which is a big one and seems to generate a lot of interest.
Yes, exactly.
And again, that one you can comment, inbox us any of your questions.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
So today we're just going to do something fun. We're going to do a little random Q&A generator and just... see how much we know about each other and what we don't know and what we want to learn. Mm-hmm. So,
Tammy's got the phone to see the questions. Let's see.
I didn't look at them though.
You didn't look at them?
No, I just randomly Googled.
Oh, you're better than me. I would have been.
No. No, because I got distracted with something else.
Oh, right, yes.
And I just, I randomly asked for questions and I don't.
Oh, she's better than I am.
Let's see.
Dude, what is that Jeopardy song? Do.
Okay. I'm going to ask this. Have you ever had a secret admirer?
I don't know their secret.
That's good.
How would I know?
Good point. Well, eventually, sometimes they come out as a secret admirer.
A secret admirer? Not that I'm aware of. Like, you know what? I'm going to put my big girl panties on and sound very confident that I'm sure there has been somebody to have secretly admired me. But
well, I'm sure.
I don't know. Just like, I don't know. I struggle with that concept of a little bit. I'm like,
yeah.
So, but,
I get that.
yeah, I will say it's not really secret. I mean, I keep talking about him, but the reality is that, Richard and I talked a long time before we met in person. So when we finally got together, like it was junior high when I first started talking to him, and we didn't start dating until like end of high school. So like there's quite a bit of time there. So anyway, when we got together,
you and Richard are like the love story. I told you should go for that TV thing that they're doing.
Oh right,
that love story.
Yeah,
and it's local. So your secret admirer is probably
Richard, yeah. So, like, when we got together, like, when I went on a break with my ex-boyfriend, he immediately asked me out. And he always says that, like, he got with his dream girl.
Oh,
like,
that is
sweet. Cute. Yeah, whatever.
Richard, you're a doll.
But,
you guys hit the couple jackpot. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
Just like
all relationships
have struggles. But, I mean, I see you guys as, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You truly love each other, and that's beautiful.
Yeah, like this morning, he was in a rush. So I texted him and I was like, did you make it to work? Because I was in Halifax overnight. And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, you didn't even say good morning to me.
Oh my God.
I was like, that's rude. And he was like, I fucking played it.
DIVORCE.
Didn't even get a good morning text. How rude.
But it's funny because when you're in a relationship and you get used to that, you kind of wonder, is there something wrong with the person, right?
Well, I was like, did he sleep
mad
in?
At me? Did he sleep?
Yeah, like something happened. Because when I'm there, he obviously doesn't.
He doesn't text you when you're.
Yeah, yeah, but like, yeah.
That's cool.
What about you? It's hard, right?
I can't say that I've ever had a secret admirer that I'm aware of.
See, but I bet you there has been.
I've had some crazy,
not so secret
admirers. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, no. If you're out there,
if you're one of our secret admirers, comment
below.
Yeah,
I like how we're giggling like girls, little girls. Pick a question, any question.
Okay. Oh, I'm not gonna get you to read I'll get you to put that in.
Oh, it's just my face. So
okay. Let's see here.
There's a whole slew of them, so you can pick whatever.
Okay. Ooh, this one's weird. Which of the 5 senses would you say is your is your strongest?
Hearing.
Really? That's like my worst sense.
I think it's because of the hypervigilance.
Oh,
so I'm always on the alert. Like, it's like these little feelers, or even though, because I have only partial hearing in this left ear.
Right.
But I feel like I'm always like those little robots that have those ears that move.
For anyone who's just listening and not watching, she's like moving her hands around her ears in this like circular motion.
Well, that's what it feels like. Like there's these little antennas that come out of my ears. Like, especially, I find that when I'm in a crowd of people, I get overstimulated by all the things going on because I think I'm picking up on everything because I am hypervigilant, and I'm like, and that's why I find sometimes I'm really socially awkward.
Right.
And have a hard time like engaging in conversations with people because I'm too busy
trying to decipher what everyone's doing or saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, even though it may not even have anything to do with me and I'm not like nosy or don't care what they're.
Right.
It's just I guess it's a trait or something that I've learned.
I mean, I feel like that's natural. Like,
yeah.
You know, I do feel like it's natural to... A lot of people say, oh, you can't have multiple conversations around me because whatever. I get distracted. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the hypervigilance, that makes sense. Yeah.
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 And I think that's, so it would be my hearing.
Huh.
What would yours be?
So for people, okay, so fun fact about Megan, which Tammy already knows, but you guys may not know, is I eat like the pickiest child there is. Like that's how like beyond. Like, and it's to the point like for example, this is one of my food things. Like I have peas with rice, like white rice with ketchup. I love white rice and ketchup. Love it. With peas. Or corn and potatoes. I would never have corn with rice or peas with potatoes. Never.
Fun fact, Megan has never had a home-cooked meal at my house. 2 reasons. I don't home cook. No. No, but I know her foods.
Yeah, like actually, well, that's not true. One time, so the odd time I will experiment, and one time Tammy and I went away to that snobbish place. Remember that? Where he was a bit of a weirdo.
The one that circled the house when
Yes,
we were in it?
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we went there, and when we were getting groceries, she said, "Oh, try the 4-cheese sauce." So I tried that, and I still eat that to this day. But Richard puts it through the strainer, so I don't have any of the yucky tomatoey parts, and it's just pure sauce.
This is why I say that Richard and Megan are a match made in heaven, because Richard picks, if it's peas and carrots, Richard will pick the peas out so Megan can eat only the peas and not the carrots.
Yeah, I've done that before.
So that's true. I know.
God. But okay, so all of this to say, taste, I would say, is my strongest, because there's been times at the house where a certain father-in-law thinks that I may not notice something. And so, like, actually, Richard and I were just talking about this the other day. He made my favorite, I think people call it goulash, but it's like the hamburger, tomatoes.
Yep.
Yeah. He mixed it with a different sauce. And so as soon as I tasted it, I was like, this tastes funny. Something's wrong. And so anyway, Richard tasted it and he's like, yeah, no, that does taste different. But even like pepper is too spicy for me because I don't normally have any like pepper. So like normal table pepper is like spicy for me. Like I just pick up on it.
The spicier it is, the better. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, Tammy's palate or like taste of food is so like, I would say exotic.
Not exotic. I will taste anything. Like I love to experiment and try new things.
And that's good. And that's great for her.
But I wasn't always like this.
No,
and I was more like you. Like I grew up with a very like meat, potatoes, and it was a very bland diet.
Yeah. Was it Belize that changed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it opened my eyes to and being friends with Twinny because Twinny cooks and experiments and is always trying new recipes, and so a lot of times you got to taste test whatever she was making, and I learned that things can taste good that I thought that didn't.
Well, I think too, like, I mean, in full transparency, I do like my comfort zone. Like I'm sure like if I were thrown into a totally different country where like I wouldn't have the options that I have here.
You could, you'd get on okay though, because if you can eat white rice with ketchup, and fried chicken,
see
then you're
chicken
good.
and rice, I love it.
You're good.
Yeah,
you'd be fine. You could eat it.
I'd survive.
You could eat at any corner store in the.
People always say to me like, "You picked a restaurant because you're so picky," and I'm like, as long as there's fries, I'm fine. Like I'll just have fries. It's all good.
I hate that. I like so when we go somewhere that she actually gets something that she likes. Like I don't like to go somewhere because with me I really don't care. Like I'll have something from wherever we're at.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever went to anywhere. We liked St. Louis. That was good.
Yes, and we like Swiss Chalet and we like Boston Pizza. So like there's a few that we like together.
Yeah, it's always better to eat in the restaurant. We used to order all the time. Like all the time. Mm-hmm. And we'd get the crappiest luck sometimes.
Yes.
Like crappiest.
Like you'd eat in the restaurant and you'd get this beautiful plate full of lovely food and you could take some home. You'd order the same thing and pay twice as much for it to get it delivered, and it would come in this little teeny
cardboard
box and it would be awful.
Half frozen, like
yeah. Anyway,
you go for it.
So now you know about our food habits and our sensory
surprise. Do.
What would you change about yourself if you could?
Oh. What would I change?
And I'm going to
about
add
myself?
and it can be weight.
Yeah. No, you know what? I don't think I would change it anyway.
Like, because the only reason I preface that is because we are like, I never want that to be our focus of.
Absolutely. And you know what? It saddens me. I mean, just this going off a little track, or track a little bit, but it saddens me that like a lot of plus size people.
That's what they want.
That if they were asked that question, that might be what the answer is, and that's heartbreaking. If I could change one thing about myself, I would say
Hey, buddy.
that I would change my, what is it called? Imposter syndrome. That's what I would change. So,
Explain a little bit about imposter syndrome for people who might not know.
Yeah, so I find that even though I'm told 1,000,001 times at work that I'm doing a good job, that I know what I'm doing, even in school, like I get decent grades and everything else, I always feel like I'm still at a place or that I'm not able to do the job or do the thing that I'm supposed to be doing. So imposter syndrome is literally like that you feel like you're an imposter or you're a fake in the job or whatever it is you're doing. So I struggle with that. Like I struggle about like thinking, you know, when I'm graduating social work program, I'm struggling to think like, do I actually know what it is to be a social worker? Or going into this counseling, will I actually know what it means to be a counselor? Or will I be like messing with people's lives? Because that's the other thing about what I do, right?
I think you were born for that job. I
Thank
don't think
you.
that's in. I mean, I know that we all struggle with our own internal conversations with ourselves about stuff. But for you, I couldn't see you doing anything else any better.
Oh, well, and I get like that. Like I thank you.
And I mean, I've known you since you were younger.
Yeah.
Like quite a bit younger.
We've known each other how many years now?
8. Imagine.
Really?
Yes. Yep.
Holy.
Yep.
That's
so,
wild.
I mean, I've seen you kind of grow and mature and develop and go through different processes through school and things like that. And I can't imagine you doing anything else.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And I do hear that like from people. I always just worry that, you know, you're dealing with people's real lives. Sometimes people understand when they work in this profession that they're really dealing with people's lives. I think that some people just are like power tripping.
I haven't ever seen anyone take as much true interest in their clients and the clients' families in the position that you're in. And if Megan works was working as a youth worker.
Yes, yeah.
And just the amount of energy you would put into each and every client and getting to know them and what they like and how they interact with their families and things like that. And I just feel like you're on the right track to what you should be doing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. But yeah, I would like to feel that internally. Or feel confident.
I think you'll get there.
I hope so. I really think so too. I mean, I've been doing a lot of, like we talked about, self-work, and that's part of it.
I've seen big changes in you just in the last few months.
Yeah. And I will admit I also have. So I think,
you go.
Yeah. So I think I'm on the right path.
You are.
Yeah.
You are.
What about you?
What would I change?
Yeah.
I would change probably the traits that I have of being impulsive and reactive instead of, and I've worked really hard on that, and I have to work on that each and every day because it's just part of who I am.
Right.
And it's part of my personality. But that is one of the things that instead of being reactive and impulsive, I would like to be proactive, and I would like to put thought into things before I actually agree to do them or blurt out something that I'll be sorry for later, those are things that I struggle with and that I would like to change about myself.
Yeah, and I think you have just knowing, I mean, you have also, speak about coming a long way, you've also come a significantly long way. And I can see you always trying to do that, engage yourself. And you do a lot of reflective work. And I think that only, like, a lot, like, I don't think I've ever seen someone who does as much reflective work as Tammy, which is really positive. Like, unless you're being mean to yourself, which she can be sometimes, but if it's effective reflective work, then you're being compassionate towards yourself, not angry or mean to
and not
yourself.
only compassionate towards myself, but compassionate towards the other people that I'm interacting with, because the last thing I want to do is hurt someone's feelings or come across as cold. Or I've heard people say that before about me, like, oh, resting bitch face, or you know, you're cold, or you're stuck up, or things like that. But a lot of that is just, I think, social anxiety and feeling insecure, and you know, and wanting to make everybody else happy. Yeah.
And I think too, like, I'm not going to disclose what we have, but we do have similar mental health diagnosis. And with one of those mental health diagnoses, you know, feeling so deeply is one of our things. Like,
it is.
Like, when I mean, I'm not going to I can't speak for Tammy, but I know that I feel, all I can explain is I feel everything very deeply. It's in my bones, in my soul. When something makes me sad, it makes me sad. And when something makes me happy, it makes me, like, overjoyed. And so
I'm the same.
Yeah. And so the impulsivity can be really hard, because, like, I've learned during placement, for example, when there's decisions that I really don't agree with, or if there's people that I don't agree with how they're behaving, like, I feel that so much. And then that impulsivity comes in, because you want to, like, you know,
want to change it
and change the world and everything else.
And then you crash.
Yeah. Or you say things that you probably shouldn't be saying.
You wish that you had a string that you could reel it back in.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I would do, it would be to tie these lips shut sometimes.
I know. When we did our presentation for how our placement went, the first thing I said was, I'm feeling jaded today. Like, I'm feeling really jaded. And then I was like, thinking back on it, I was like, no, it's been a really positive experience. I was just having a moment. But that's that impulsivity, right? Like, you're just in that moment. Yeah. So, but I see you really, really, really working on that.
And I thank you, because I consciously, I honestly replay the conversations I have with people over and over in my head. And I consciously try to make better choices going forward with conversations. Yeah. You know, so that I don't make the same mistakes again, or, you know, I don't want people to see me as an angry person or an uncaring person, because I'm really not.
Yeah. And the other thing too is that, you know, when you are going through something, instead of impulsively or just, like, on the fly messaging or talking to whoever or dealing with whatever situation you're dealing with, you also can reach out to your support systems. You have done that a lot recently, where you just reach out to whoever's in your support system, say, you know, this is a little bit about the situation. Like, what do you think? You know,
I often, and I hope you don't mind, but I do often bounce a lot of things off
that's
you, just
totally
to
fine.
Get, you know, like, I'll send Megan a random blurb about, well, this happened, this is what I said. Thoughts? And that's a question mark. And she's really good. I mean, she doesn't instantly reply or anything, but when she gets a chance, she'll give me some honest, good feedback. And then I feel like, okay, I'm either on the right track or I've got to shift a bit. And, you know, and it's really helpful.
Yeah. And the good thing about Tammy is she's got such, like, your support systems are so varied in like, in life experiences, in culture, in gender, like, you've got so many, you've got such a variety of people, so you can get different perspectives, which is really helpful.
Yes, and I must say that I have really kind of honed down my circle to people who really complement my life, and who I feel like I can give something to them, and they can, it's an even exchange.
For sure. Oh, 1,000%.
Whereas previously I had a lot of people in my life where I was people pleasing. Yeah. And I wasn't necessarily getting anything good out of it.
Yes, people pleasing thing is so hard.
We both struggle with that.
Yeah.
But I have seen both of us. That's one thing where we've both stepped out of it, and every time we do a podcast, the cat
Archie
goes crazy.
goes nuts. Like, nuts.
He seriously slept all day, and now he just like took one run across the room like he's crazy.
I'll be so curious if you can hear his run on the podcast. That'd be hilarious. Everyone would be like, what's going on?
Skitter across the floor.
That's
But anyway,
hilarious.
yeah, both of us struggle with that.
Is it my go or your go?
It's your go.
Okay, I'll get your face.
My face. There you go.
Okay. Do, 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 do.
Do. We should have done trivia. We'll have to do that sometime.
We will, yeah. Oh, I know what question I'm going to ask.
All right.
What is your favorite book to read?
Oh.
Tammy's like, of course.
No, I'm going to say something, and I can't remember the author's name.
And you can speak genre too if you want.
Well, I love historical fiction.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And anything that's set in the early 1900s, like the settlers or anything like that, or indigenous peoples, anything like early 1900s.
Yeah.
I really love that kind of era. But one thing that I read, I'm going to say it was probably right around the time when I came home, probably about 8 years ago.
Okay.
And I was really struggling with a lot of things. And there was a book I read, and it was called A Year by the Sea.
Okay.
And it was a woman who left her husband, left her life, and went and lived in a little shack in this tiny little New England town for a whole year. Just
Okay.
And that was her thing. And I believe it was a true story.
Okay.
And she went and she did that, and it's talked about going through all the motions of living by yourself after years of being married and learning to know what you like and don't like. And she ended up meeting, I'm not going to say young, but a younger man. They didn't have a romantic relationship, but they ended up forming this really great friendship.
Really?
He was a fisherman. Anyways, it was a really great story. And I don't know, I just took a lot away from that about that you can make changes to your life, and it's okay to be by yourself, and it's, you can be a strong, positive woman, and you're not going to die if you have to live by yourself or if you have to do things for yourself.
Oh my gosh, Archie is like on something.
I promise I didn't.
Did you? Okay. On YouTube, I've locked the door.
Okay, good. Archie can open doors, by the way, just if you're wondering.
Oh my gosh, he literally.
Yep.
I've never seen him go under the fence.
That's why I said he can.
So for people, well, you can't see it anyway, even if you're watching. But there's a little fence thing
In the door, so
in the
that
door, yeah.
Archie can't get outside when someone
But
comes
now
to the
can
door.
he get back over?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so he won't have trouble with that.
No.
Okay. All right.
Archie's like Houdini.
Okay.
Come, bud. Kiki, come.
Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
Anyway, okay. Next question.
Next question.
Did you answer that? Yeah. you
Oh
did.
no. So my
Your favorite, yeah.
Well, I think anyone who's listened to me go on and on, but my favorite is romance with plus size characters.
And that's just a new thing for you, isn't it?
This is a new thing. So this it started at a Bridgerton. I read all of the Bridgerton books, and that's when I kind of realized, oh, I like romance, but I also like a little bit of sex. So in the book,
I think we all like that. We're going to get business cards with that on it. We like romance with a little bit of sex.
we should.
That's funny.
That's hilarious.
That'll be the title of this podcast.
Yeah, so I like the romance books. I like when they and so I started with the Bridgertons, and that's when I noticed what I liked. And then so I was really liking, kind of like you, like the historical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know what made me find this book. So an author that I would recommend is, if you're interested, I think it's Amy Daws. Daws. I will put it in the comments, and I'll also put on your book.
A Year by the Sea, yeah.
In the little description. But this author, she writes really good books with plus size characters. And so the first series I read about was these football brothers. So that's
Football brothers?
Yeah, so they're like
Okay.
brothers all on a football team.
Jocks,
yes. And I really like the football thing because usually they have really broad shoulders, like Richard. That reminds me, Richard. And the girls are
So you're
usually
reading
plus size.
a romance novel thinking about your husband.
Oh, for sure. And when I
Most people read romance novels to get away from the thought of their husband and have something new. Megan reads them so that she can think of Richard.
So I tend to like football ones just because his body.
You're right. He's shaped like a football player.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, when I read that book, so basically it's about these brothers. Every book is a different brother. And so the first book I ever read, it was like she lived like next door to him, and he has always loved her, and she never well, obviously there's like she didn't think that he would like her that way. There was a little bit of some books you can find where they're like super confident and there's no body issues at all. These ones, there's a slight, she's still confident, but there's like a slight kind of unsure feelings around her body. Mm-hmm. So anyway, it's been so long since I read it. I think they get into like some sort of fake relationship, and then that fake relationship turns into a romance. But
meaning like he was like it was like a joke at first?
No, it was so normally with the fake, so there's like tropes. Did you know this is a thing? So they call it like different tropes. So like fake relationships is one where it's like, so for him, for example, he needed better publicity, or he had bad publicity, so he needed a long-term girlfriend in the eyes of the media, and he wanted to ask her because he liked her.
Trope? And that's what it's called?
It's like tropes. So another trope would be like a billionaire trope. So the guy or the girl in the novel is a billionaire. Or there's brother's best friend. That's another one. I don't know why I read it all the time, but it's like, that's, yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, so... anyway, so they have this fake relationship and they fall madly in love, and the way he worshipped her body, I loved it. I loved every second of it. It was awesome. And the only thing I could picture was, oh my God, this is exactly how Richard views me, and this is exactly how he would want to worship my body. And so that's, oh, Jesus. Can you people hear Archie?
He just jumped to the top of the cupboards and ran all the way across it.
So Amy Daws, she does a bunch of them. I think they're the Knight brothers or whatever. Anyway, I'll put it in the description. But that's the kind of books I like. Okay, next
Maybe
question.
we should ask Archie what he wants to read.
Jesus.
All right.
Do-do,
Do-do.
do-do, do. I keep thinking she's going to say something. I don't know. How's everyone's day going? Are you excited for Friday? Because I'm excited for Friday. I guess
You'll be listening to this on Friday.
Are you excited for today to be happening?
It'll be the weekend.
What are you doing this weekend?
Yeah, exactly. Put in the comments what you're doing this weekend. We'd like to know.
And it better be relaxing and some self-care. Better be.
If money was no object, what would you do all day?
So I wouldn't work?
It's totally up to you. If money was no object, what would you do all day?
Oh. If money was no object, I would not be able to walk away from some sort of social setting. Like maybe not working a full-time as a social worker or in the future counselor or whatever. But I would take a break from work and do my studies, just my studies, and I would travel. Like I would really just like to see the world, specifically Europe. Yeah, and could do I would do that world cruise. Mm-hmm. Like the 9-month cruise or whatever. I feel like I would do that kind of stuff. I would do some, what do they call those people that like don't have to work and have lots of money, but they give and they surround themselves with social issues?
Philanthropist?
Yeah, I'd be one of those.
Philanthropist.
Yeah, I would be a Nova Scotian what is it?
Philanthropist.
What she said. That's what I would be. And then I would also travel, and I would probably do more education. I love learning. Yeah, I don't think I would go to work every day all day.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yeah, but I would be bored. I wouldn't want to. I don't know. Maybe I would. I don't know, but I think that's what I would do. What about you?
If money was no object, I would have, I mean, I'm sure somebody's already created accessibility vehicles so that I could get back in the woods and
Love it.
on the water and doing more outdoor things. And one thing I would really, really love to do again is to be able to go back out on the Keys in Belize, out on Turniff Island, and stay with the fishermen and just lounge around all day, eat really good food, and swim in the water, and just,
so good.
Like just suck it all in and enjoy the vitamin D on your skin. And
So travel,
yeah. But I'd make myself some magical, I'd have my own plane. So I wouldn't have to deal with flying on an airplane, so that I could just ride my wheelchair onto the plane. And
That is awesome.
yeah.
I read in this one book, this guy was so rich. I mean, this is all fake, it's all whatever. But his private plane was so big, he had a theater in it.
See, I don't
that's
care.
the one you should get.
No.
Because then you have lots of room to wheel around. Yes!
But see, I don't even care about things like that. All I want to do is get from point A to point B.
And not watch a movie while you're doing it.
No, I couldn't care less about a movie. I'd rather be looking out the window and looking down and seeing what's going on.
Nope. I'd like to watch Netflix.
No.
For a 13-hour...
Couldn't even care less
film?
if I ever had Netflix.
No, I would like to watch my Netflix.
Do you know that I've been on, most of the flights that I've been on, I hardly ever watch a movie. I'm always like looking out the window, looking at the people.
Oh, not me.
Thinking about what I'm going to do when I get where I'm going.
That's me. But it's an impatient. It's not like excited.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh my God, get me off this plane.
Yeah, no. And I miss traveling since being in the chair. And, financially it's not feasible. But
I much prefer to travel by car.
Do you? I love
road
flying.
trips.
I love road trips too.
Yeah.
That's what I miss too, is our road trips.
Yeah, I do love a good road trip. I'm excited. I'm going to Newfoundland next week.
That is good. And your best friend is getting married.
I know.
That's so exciting.
It is. Did I tell you I'm doing her speech?
Oh, you are?
I'm doing the speech, yeah.
Awesome. I can't wait to see the pictures because I know it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, I have to figure out my dress because it's like a little bit lower in the back. So I'm going to need, I don't know, I'm going to have to go bra shopping over the weekend and see what I can find.
Maybe you need some of those stick-on pull-up things that are just like a cup.
Yeah, maybe.
That might work.
Yeah. I'll figure it out.
Because, I mean, you don't have heavy boobs or anything, so
No.
yeah, you should be able to get something like that.
Yeah.
Or try it anyway.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Next question.
My turn. Okay. Let's see. So...
It's funny what comes up just asking a random question.
I know. I
hope at this point you guys are getting to know us a little bit better and understand how our brains work and what we love and
yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Or maybe you're not listening to us because we're boring.
That could be it too,
I don't think we're boring. I mean, truthfully and honestly, that might sound...
There was one that I saw
but I really don't think we're boring.
Oh, if you could share a meal with any 4 individuals, living or dead, who would they be?
Oh, my. 4 individuals.
And they could be living or dead. And it can be like anybody.
I would pick my grandfather,
Okay.
Higgins,
Okay.
and my grandmother, Higgins,
Okay.
Willie Nelson, and my son.
Aww.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
that's who I would pick. Because I'd love to have a conversation with them all. And I think
Yeah.
Willie would be a good mediator. I think Willie would just smoke one and be sitting back,
It'd be helpful that way.
I think Willie has a really good perspective on life, so I think he'd be good at bridging the gaps, I guess.
Do you want to hear a really, really, really cute story about Willie Nelson?
Yes.
Like super cute?
I love Willie Nelson.
Okay, it's not about him. It is about him, but not. So at a summer camp, we talked about, so it was an Indigenous summer camp, and we were talking about elders. And so we had everybody kind of talk about their an elder that they really respect and love. And so this little kid said Willie Nelson.
Oh my God.
And so we had the kids do a card for the elder that they chose, like they could give. So he actually drew out and cut out a guitar.
Oh, that's sweet.
And colored it in and wrote like a nice little message and asked me to send it to his fan.
And in all seriousness, I do believe that Willie is Indigenous. Like his mother, I believe, had Cherokee blood or something. Like,
I don't know about any of that, but
so he, there is a tie there.
Yeah, no, but
did you send
adorable?
it?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's awesome! I hope he gets a response.
Cute. Oh my gosh, yeah. So
Willie, if you're listening to us,
please
respond to Megan's little bug.
Message me and I'll give you some details.
Aw, that's adorable.
Yeah, no, I thought that was cute. When you said Willie Nelson, I thought of this kid.
Who would you pick?
Who would I pick?
4 people, living or dead, that you could have a meal with.
And
the meal I would have had, by the way, is turkey. I would have had a big turkey dinner.
Like a Christmas turkey dinner? Like the big...
Yeah, the big full-out Christmas dinner.
I'm going to agree with that one. I would have dinner with my grandmother. Do you know
on your mom's side or your dad's?
On my mom's side. Okay, so I would have dinner with my grandmother and my grandfather on my mom's side. Mm-hmm. And I would have dinner with my papa, because they were French, so papa on my dad's side. And then I would probably add Patrick, which is my cousin, who died quite young.
Oh.
He was like I can't remember how old he was, like 20.
That's young.
Yeah, that is young. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I would have a meal with them. Like my grandfather recently passed, like in the last, when did he passed in February?
Yeah.
So I mean, he would have been recent, but yeah, I feel like my papa, forever and always, whenever I go meet a medium or a psychic or whatever, he's always the first person to appear, and he was the very first death I had to deal with at, like, I think it was 5 or maybe slightly under. So he's always been my, like, almost like a guardian angel. And then my grandmother and I were really close, and then my grandfather just recently passed, and then my cousin, I think I'd like to have dinner with them, and I'd have turkey dinner.
We're so Canadian. Turkey dinner.
I know, but there's nothing better than
a nice, juicy turkey dinner.
Love a good turkey dinner.
Oh, here's a good one. If you could go back in time to change one thing, what would it be?
Oh, if I could go back in time and change one thing. I don't know if I would. I feel like everything I've been through, good or bad, has just kind of made me who I am.
You just verbalized exactly what I was thinking in my mind.
I mean, I've been through a lot of pain. I've caused a lot of pain. Like, there's nights that I don't go to sleep thinking about something that's happened years and years ago or whatever, like that I either has been caused to me or I've caused someone else. And sure, there's like lots of little moments where you're like, oh, even embarrassing moments where you're like, oh, I wish that didn't happen, or I didn't wish I did make that decision or whatever. But I think ultimately it just, I don't want to say it makes me stronger, because I kind of hate like when people are like, oh, I'm stronger because of all the trauma and abuse I've suffered,
that's bullshit.
Which is bullshit, yeah. So I rather just say, like, everything that's happened to me, good or bad, has shaped the person I am today. And so I feel like if you change one thing, then your kind of trajectory.
Yeah, it's almost like when they set up the dominoes and let them go.
Yeah.
Like if you push that domino over, then... Because I was thinking of some things that I'd like to change, but if I did that, then, like, I was thinking in my mind, I would like to change who I married, but if I changed that, then I wouldn't have Kurt and I wouldn't have Candy.
Yeah.
And those are, you know, two of the biggest things in my life. And then, you know, I guess, and yeah, everything I've been through, good or bad, has kind of shaped who I am. So, and the experiences I've had they have made me stronger.
Yeah.
And they have made me, I think, a better person.
Yeah. Yeah, because I even think about, like, St. John's. Like, I think if there was one decision that I might have changed would be, like, leaving St. John's. I loved St. John's. At the time, it felt like that was the right move. But if I didn't leave St. John's, who knows where I would have been. Whether I would have taken social work.
With me.
I wouldn't be sitting right here. I wouldn't have, I wouldn't have been introduced to the agency I work for. Like, there's so many things that wouldn't have happened if I stayed in St. John's. So even though I miss St. John's, and you can relate to that because you probably miss Belize. I mean, I probably miss St. John's less than you miss Belize, definitely. But that would be the kind of one thing that I'm always curious about. Like, what would have happened if we decided to stay instead of come back home?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Changes the trajectory of things, doesn't
It
it?
does. That's like, did I do it?
Yep.
Okay. That's like when you get a reading or if you do tarot cards or whatever, they always say, like, it kind of predicts in the moment, but something can change that whole, like, just one slight little movement can change everything.
Yep. I think that's why it's so important to be in tune to your, like, the closer you can get to yourself and your soul and your energy, and how you are really feeling about things without the outside influences, especially when you're making life-altering decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do. I have no idea. I want to do something smaller.
Smaller?
Yeah. Something that's not so detailed. What is your favorite movie?
Cider House Rules, which is a book by John
I've
Irving.
never heard of it.
Oh, you need to read it.
What's it called?
Cider House Rules.
Is it like an old book or something?
No, it's by John Irving. It was written probably in the 80s. So, I mean, yes, I guess that's
What's it
old.
about? Yeah, it's old. Real.
It's about a doctor who ran an orphanage, and he had an orphanage for boys.
Really?
But he also was an on the side.
Oh, my type of book.
Yeah, and then it gets involved with one of the young boys that was in the orphanage, grows up and learns what the doctor is doing, and then decides to kind of be his apprentice or whatever. And then he gets in a relationship with a girl, and the girl is pregnant by someone else and ends up, needing an abortion. There's a whole long story, but it's set in I would think it's set in the 50s.
Okay.
50s or 60s. You would like it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good. There's a movie too. So.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's my favorite book.
So it's also a movie. Okay.
Yeah.
So movie for me, I would say, I love watching like what I would consider older Disney movies. There's stuff like the princesses, like I love Beauty and the Beast. I love Ariel. But I also like Monsters Inc. Sully and Mike Wazowski. So, that's not like too old. That's not like a million years ago, but still it's older. I like those kind of classic.
You're a Disney.
I love Disney. As far as another movie, like, I don't know. I feel like I don't really have like a favorite. Oh, you know what? I will say one that's not Disney related is Blue Hawaii.
Blue Hawaii?
Yeah, it's an Elvis Presley movie.
I was just going to say that. Sounds like...
Yeah, so my grandmother and I, when I was young...
Wow.
Yeah, so when me and my grandmother got together and we had girls' night when I was baby child, we would watch Elvis Presley movies, and Blue Hawaii sticks out to me for some reason. Richard actually got it for me a couple years ago for Christmas. Yeah, I have it on DVD because it reminds me of my grandmother. So I would say Blue Hawaii if it's not Disney. Yeah. It holds sentimental value, like, and the storyline is that he's obviously in Hawaii and he meets a girl or whatever, and he sings like
I think I've seen that.
He sings like he does, you know. Oh.
And doesn't he do with a luau?
Yes. I can move it with the little ukulele.
Yes, I have seen it.
You know. Fun fact.
See, when I was a kid, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Richard's grandmother, Betty, saw Elvis in person.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
Okay,
that would make sense. No, I was just going to say when I was a little girl, which would have been in the 70s, I remember when Elvis died and how everybody was...
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Like, everybody my parents' age was just devastated.
Yeah.
You know, I remember the day that Elvis died.
Yeah.
It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that is, like, wonky.
Mm-hmm. And I think Elvis dying affected more people than, you know, like Robert Kennedy being shot or major political people. Yeah, like I think Elvis affected so many people and touched so many people across the world.
Yeah, I mean, he was like pretty risque for his time, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
yes, we managed to fill up a whole hour full of our nonsense.
If you're even still listening.
If you're still with us.
We're hoping that either the next podcast or the one after will be another one for our sex series. We should have a special guest. I'm only saying maybe because I don't want to jinx it. So we're just maybe going to be doing that. So honestly, if there is sex related questions, please comment or privately message us on the Facebook page.
And again, like I said before, if you message us with a question, we won't say your name unless you want us to. But if you want us to just anonymously talk about something, that's totally cool to just say that to us that, you know, you want us.
And that goes for like people even like listening to the podcast. So if you're listening to the podcast and you're international and you're like, what Facebook page? If you go on Facebook and search up Fat Girl Flippers, you'll see our Facebook page.
That's us.
Fat Girl Flippers. And then you can just, like our page, follow us, but also you can just press message on Facebook and it'll go to us. So even if you're, you know, in Italy or in Europe somewhere.
Totally, we will be so thrilled if somebody from another country actually got in touch with us and sent us a message. That would be...
We'd die. We like literally would die.
We'd be like when we heard ourselves on the radio.
We'd like
two teenagers.
Even if you were from a different country or a different province, and a country would be really cool. I mean, province is also cool, but country would be really cool. Even if you wanted to talk to us a little bit about what the sex culture with plus size bodies is like there. Maybe it's a little different.
Or even the culture of plus size bodies.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
We'd be really interested to know.
Yeah. So
with that,
anyway, have a wonderful weekend full of self-care, self-love, and self-compassion. And we will see you next Friday.
We love you guys.
Love you.
Mwah.
Our voice is strong, our stories to be heard, challenging the stereotypes, flipping the world, the chronicles of